So this video is going to be just a get ready with me and have a little bit of a chat type of video. So feel free to do makeup with me, catch up on laundry, some ironing perhaps, or just sit back, cup of tea, cup of coffee and listen in. Feel free to chat along in the comments down below or answer any questions or add any comments that you want to as well. I always enjoy reading them and replying back. So I guess first things first, I just kind of let my hair go natural. So I went over it with the hairdryer with the diffuser on it. I think that's what it's called. And this is how it turned out. So my hair is sort of in between wavy and curly. A couple of strands are almost ringlety but really loose ringlets, and other strands are almost straight, they just have a really loose wave. But what I'm finding is the areas, and I don't know how well it'll turn up on the camera, but the areas where I'm getting more of my grey hair coming through, my grey hair doesn't seem to be as curly as the rest of it, which is interesting. I have heard people say that the texture of your hair changes, but yeah, so those bits there you can see. This is, I've got grey patches here and here mainly along this section, and out of those two sections you can see this strand here is nowhere near as curly as some of the other darker strands, so that's just interesting. I have clipped it up a little bit so it's out of my way because I still really don't know how to style my hair when I leave it natural, so I'll just put that back. So I might start with foundation, and it's been a while since I've actually worn proper foundation. Normally I've just been going for the powdered foundation, but I thought I might try this one again. It's the Luminous Silk Foundation by Giorgio Armani, that one, but this is in shade 3.75. I don't know if it's going to be too light. I've been finding some of the foundations that I bought before are actually lighter. I don't know if I've got a tan, obviously not a full tan because I'm so pale, but yeah, I'm not sure. So we'll see how it goes, but I've just got a Real Techniques sponge which I'm going to use to apply it, and yeah, see how it looks. And then I might do a little bit of concealer, so I might just spread this around. But yeah, so I don't really use liquid foundations very often. For the most part it's because it is a bit pale. We'll see how it goes. It might blend in a bit. It's not too bad. It does blend in with my neck. That's the main thing. So yeah. My face is slightly darker than my neck. Is that normal? I'm not sure. Is your face darker than your neck? Or is your face lighter? I know some people that have lighter skin on their face, but I think it's depending on the skincare products that they use. Sometimes if you use products that have a tendency to bleach or brighten or lighten up the skin, unless you bring it down onto your neck, you can end up with brighter or lighter skin on your face. So that's a thing. But yeah, so it's been a while, so I'm tangenting already. I've only just begun. But it's been a while since I've actually used liquid foundation. I've never really found a liquid foundation that I have enjoyed using. I like my makeup to look natural. So I don't like it to look thick or cakey or really too much full coverage stuff. That's just me, but for the most part foundation doesn't sit well on my skin. I've got rather large pores around my cheeks here, on both sides and across my nose, a little bit up here too, and then I've got fine lines up on my forehead. Down here I've got this really big one there, and under my eyes, and I find that with liquid foundation it just sits in the pores of my skin. and it makes them look worse, whereas the powdered foundation sort of doesn't. And strangely enough, it's the mineral powder, the ones that you generally buff in, look better. Some powder foundation makes it look worse, but yeah, so that's a balancing act. Sometimes I've got combination skin, and depending on the type of year really depends on what my skin's doing. So I can be really dry in some months, but then get quite oily, particularly across my T-zone in other months. But I've got dry patches just here across. You can kind of see it just clings funny to it. But this one isn't too bad actually. This is going on quite nicely. And I would hope that it would, considering it's not cheap. So I'll just put a little bit on. Maybe I'll see if I can get away with using this as a concealer just under my eyes. I always pull a face when I'm doing makeup around or under my eyes. I think it's to stretch out the skin like that face. I mean, it works, but it's kind of like the mascara face when you're putting on mascara. It's almost impossible to put on mascara without opening your mouth. Blend it in, and then a little bit across my eyelids to even them out. But yeah, so I'm not doing my makeup for any particular reason. At the moment in Sydney, we are not able to really leave our house unless it's for an essential reason or an emergency. So like going for groceries or essential goods, and then it's only once a day and one person from each household that's able to do so. So we really haven't been leaving the house very often. I did go grocery shopping yesterday because we were running out of a lot of stuff. So that was my outing for the week. Apart from that, I've been just trying to get out and walk more. So the other day I went for a 1 hour walk. I'm just going to use the Age Rewind concealer just on these spots here. A little bit there. And some there. Yeah, I went for a 1 hour walk. Just to get out. And get out of the house. Because apart from that, the only other place that I go to is my grocery store. And when I'm there, I am in and out as quick as possible. I now bring a list with me, and it's in the order of like when you first walk in to the very end. So I'll just walk straight down the aisles, get what I need, and then get out. But that's about as exciting as it gets. So at least in fake lights like this foundation is looking pretty decent. It still is grabbing a little bit around these parts, but nowhere near as bad as other foundations do, so I don't mind that. So the Luminous Silk Giorgio Armani, and the colour ended up being okay. It blends in quite nice to my neck. I could probably be a tiny bit darker, but that still works quite well. So that's the base done at least. So I'll put that aside. I might put a little bit of concealer under my eyes. I might use this little Real Techniques. It's like a little tiny sponge on a stick. I think this one is meant for concealer, but that's what I use it for, even if it's not meant for that. But there's that face again. Oh, that's better. I don't mind this concealer. no matter what concealer I use, it generally does get into the creases in my eyes, but you know, I'm 36. That's gonna happen. I think if I was going to do anything before I did fillers or anything like that, I would get this line here Botoxed, but not just for that wrinkle. And I think I've said this before, it's something I'm seriously considering doing when I can, and when I found a place that I'm comfortable with going to, and obviously when we can actually go to places like that, because at the moment they're all closed. But I get tension headaches, and I never realised it's getting worse. But I've started doing facial massage, so you kind of just gently squeeze and massage the area really gently. But even doing that, I notice how much tension is actually in this part of my face around here. It makes such a difference, and I do it a couple of times a day because I do notice that I get some headaches, and I think it's from either I go like this or there's just always tension. Either I'm always raising my eyebrows, and I think it's because my one of my eyelids is slightly droopier, and I've just formed a habit of sort of raising my eyebrows constantly to the point where I have to think about not doing it. Normally you'd think about doing it and make sure you're thinking about doing it, but I'm the opposite. So I have to like really sort of just let them drop instead of holding them up all the time. So that's another thing that I've heard with Botox. It can help just relax the muscles to stop getting the tension and the headaches. And look if that stops these lines from getting worse down here. This one's not so bad, it's just this one on this side. It's quite deep now compared to even a couple of years ago. Then that would be a bonus, but it's mainly for the tension because it just hurts. It's uncomfortable. So that's something that I would rather get done before fillers, to be honest. I don't have that many wrinkles around here. When I smile, yeah, I do. But I don't mind, that's fine. They are what they are. But yeah, it's just this one. And the fact that it just hurts. So that's that. What next? I might do eyebrows. So yeah, haven't really been up to anything too exciting because we really can't do anything too exciting. But I'm able to work from home, which is good. It's, you know, not everybody can. So that's something. It's really quite busy at the moment, and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not doing too much extra work, because I don't want to get to a point where I'm like burning out from extra hours and things like that, because I'm at home and I can't do anything else. I still need a break, which is something that is sometimes a bit difficult for me. Sometimes I'll just be like, oh, I'll just work an extra hour or so, but then the extra hour or so turns into a couple of hours, and then it's a lot. So yeah, it's just something to consider, and it's something to keep in mind as well. Is just because you're working from home doesn't mean that you have to do more hours than you normally would. Make sure you take your breaks, because I know what it's like to not take them, and then just it builds up and it really gets to you. So as much as you can, separate your workspace from your personal space. Or what I found, even if you can't, and I know there's a lot of people out there who aren't in a position enough where they've got a room, like the room I use for my office is the same room that I use for my filming room. So this room here, my beauty room, but it's got a separate area, a separate desk to the side, and I cover my laptop screen and my monitor with cloth. So when I'm not using it, when it's home time, I'll cover it all. That way, it's sort of, to me, that's that separation. And it sounds silly, but it kind of works. So it's not perfect, but it works, because that way, even if I look over in that direction, I don't instantly see my laptop or my screen, I just see this black fabric. No, and that's fine. I don't instantly connect that space with work. So yeah, that's a tip. If you don't have a lot of space and you've got something set up in a corner somewhere, you can just cover it over with like a towel, a pillowcase, a blanket, whatever you've got lying around, just to form that physical barrier, I guess. I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. I've been getting more into different herbal teas lately as well. This one is, I think it's called Breathe Easy from the Tea Centre in Australia. It's quite good actually. It's got, I think it's got cardamom in it. I can taste cardamom. And what else? There was something, I think it's got turmeric in it too, but it's probably going to stain the cup, but that's okay. That's fine. Whatever. It's still really hot, so let that cool down. But yeah, I've been into more herbal teas. I'm just going to do my eyeshadow now. So yeah, I've been trying different things. Back into peppermint tea again. So there is a couple of peppermint teas that I enjoy. So one of them is from T2, and it's called Tummy Tea. So it's not a slimming tea or a skinny tea or anything like that. It's just to settle an upset stomach, and I just like the taste of it. It's got, I think, peppermint or spearmint and licorice root, so it acts as sort of like a natural sweetener. But then there's also one from the Tea Centre, which is peppermint and licorice, but it's licorice root, so it just adds a sweetness to it, and I've really been enjoying that too. It's just something really simple, and I like to have that any time of day. Sometimes I find if I have black tea too early in the morning, it makes me feel really sick. So I'm just going to apply a neutral eyeshadow all over the lid. I'm just going for a really natural look because I don't want to do anything too dramatic. I know for a lot of you it is currently summer, which is very exciting. I read a lot of your comments that were saying that you are going away on vacation, or we call them holiday, but vacation, to some fantastic places. Some of you said you were going to go sailing and going to some really beautiful places. I think there's one comment that you're going to Croatia. I hope you all enjoy your vacation, and I hope it's wonderful for you. It should be. So we're not really thinking about booking or planning any holidays just yet. There's a few things that I guess, well, we need to work out what's happening first. I don't really want to book anything just in case it gets cancelled. But also we're focusing on trying to do more things just here. So we, well, this is darker than I thought it was going to be, but that's okay, we'll make it work. I'm just going to put something in my crease just to darken it up. But so we were thinking about moving to a property. So looking at considering buying another, like a house, selling the one we've got, and then moving out a little bit further and having a bit more land. And that is definitely still something that we want to do. But we've put it off for a little bit because the car that my husband has is quite expensive to run, and he is driving a lot more with work. So it would end up costing a fortune to keep up with tyres and servicing. And also we just kind of needed, or he really needed, something that had a bit bigger storage space, or like capacity to put bigger items in. So he ended up deciding to sell his car or trade it in and get either a four-wheel drive or a station wagon. So that's something that we decided was probably more important in the immediate need for that. and so we'll just put off the house search. And I think at the moment as well, the market in Sydney is just all over the place, so prices are crazy, particularly out further where we're looking. They've just gone nuts. So what you would normally have picked up for at least a couple of $100,000 less is just going for crazy amounts. The camera just flashed a weird error message I hadn't seen before, so hopefully it doesn't die. And it's not something that I need right now. I like this camera. It's worked for a really long time actually. And look, it's not the fanciest thing. It doesn't do 4K, and you know, it's not a digital SLR camera like a DSLR. It's an actual camcorder, so it's a Sony video camera. I like it. One thing, I think it can have an external microphone, but I've struggled to find one that's wireless that works with this particular camera, and the Sony accessories are quite expensive, so I just haven't bothered. When I do my ASMR videos, I have a Blue Yeti microphone, which I purchased many years ago. So when I was more active on YouTube years ago, and I was actually toying with the idea of starting the ASMR videos back then, and then I ended up just taking a break. I had a Blue Yeti just sitting in a box, hadn't used it. I didn't have any other use for it apart from YouTube videos, and it was great. So when I started back into YouTube and doing the ASMR, that's what I've been using. But to have it work, it doesn't go through the camera. I have to have my laptop, so my laptop records from the microphone, the sound file, and my video camera records the video plus a second sound track. So I need to sync them up so I can get the microphone sound footage synced with the visuals from the video camera, and then I need to mute the video camera because otherwise there's this weird echo that it makes. But first, before I can do that, I need to modify or edit the sound from the Yeti microphone. So generally I'll need to, I think they call it compressing it, but also reduce the noise, so reduce background noises and just level it out, just the peaks and the other called troughs, I'm not sure, but it doesn't peak too much. It's more of like a level. If any of you edit it or are into sound, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't know the terminology. It's not something that I've really learnt too much about, but I just kind of try to do the best that I can. And it's tough. It takes practice, but obviously everything does. But I feel like I'm getting a bit better at it. My balance is getting a bit better with trying to get the distance, which is good. So I'm getting good feedback from some of my recent ASMR videos, and that's why it really helps for me to know if you think something can be improved, or what you want to see, what you want to watch. If you're finding that it's too quiet, what I've had to do lately is just amplify. So after I've cleaned up the sound to sort of reduce any background noises or things like that, is just amplify it up a bit just to make it a bit louder, because it got to a point where it was too quiet and you couldn't hear what I was saying properly. But that's okay, as long as I don't amplify it too much, it still sounds quite clean. But if you amplify it too much, sometimes it can distort the sound and it doesn't sound any good. So it does take a bit of practice. The hard part is I won't know what it turns out like until I've recorded it. And those videos take at least an hour generally to set up and record, and that's not including all of the pre-setting up stuff. That's just once I've got everything set up and ready to go, sit down and start recording. So to edit those videos. It takes a little bit longer than normal videos too, obviously with all the work I need to do with the sound files, but to sync it up, I try to get it as close as possible. So that's where you might see some people in live streams or other videos and they kind of clap or click or make some loud noises. That helps sync the video footage to the sound, because you'll see in the sound tracks big peaks, and you can sort of line up the tracks, and if you zoom in, get really close to it, you can line them up, and that way you can make sure that your sound file matches the video file. So I'm just going to line my eyes a little bit with some dark shadow. Just a little bit there. Yeah, so that's how I do it anyway, and it works. I'd love it if I could link the microphone to the camera, and I tried to do it in a roundabout way using some adapters and making the headset go through some. There was a way I googled it and something came up and it just didn't work, so yeah, it was a no-go, but it would be good because that'd make things a whole lot easier. Okay, I might just try to blur that out just a little. Yeah, so we are still interested in moving out and getting a little bit more land. So what we'd be looking at, and I don't know, I might go over my eyebrows again. I don't know what measurements are used where, but what we're looking at is probably 2 acres, roughly around that. So that's about 8,000 square meters, or 0.8 of a hectare. So somewhere around there would be good. 1 acre, probably more than an acre, so at least an acre, which is 4,000 square meters, or 0.4 hectares. And yeah, that's probably what we're looking for. I don't think we want anything too big, because we looked at a place that was 1.9 hectares, so I can't math. How much would that be? Almost 20,000 square meters. So almost 5 acres, I think. And it was nice. It was great, but it would be a lot to upkeep. And we don't have like animals or anything like that, like horses or anything. Plus the price, depending on where it is, that would cost an absolute fortune. So maybe that's a bit too much for us. But look, if the price is right and the place looks good, I wouldn't say no. It's just we'd need to really see if it suits. Ideally, I'd love a place that has a river that runs through it with like a little swimming hole. That'd be great. But yeah, just somewhere where we can have an aviary. I'm just gonna cross my legs. I can't. This chair's terrible. Yeah, somewhere that we have the potential to have an aviary, and I can just have a dedicated vegetable patch. Oh, I'm trying to get my eyelash curler, but it's tucked into my brushes. So I'm gonna just curl my eyelashes next, and then do mascara. So I've been watching different videos on YouTube lately. Some of them have come up as suggested videos, others I've just sort of found, you get into this like rabbit hole of videos where you watch something and then it suggests something and then you watch that and it goes somewhere else and you end up wondering, how did you get here? But when you're there, you're like, this is a video that I never thought that I needed to watch, but I'm really enjoying it. I think there was some that I was watching of, it was a person that was building a log cabin by hand. There was another channel where they would camp in negative temperatures or snowstorms and build everything by hand as well. I think one of them may be based in Sweden, the other one was in Russia somewhere, but I kind of liked the style of video. It had absolutely no talking, and it was just watching them do what they did, and it was really quite interesting. Other videos that I've been watching a channel called Garden Answer, where they are doing up a property that they bought that joins onto their main property. I've been watching that channel for a while now actually, and it's sort of inspired or reignited that feeling of gardening and just getting outside. So yeah, that's another reason why it'd be lovely to have some of the space that they do. But I think I would want a few more trees. They're planting a lot of their trees, but I just don't have patience to wait that long. But also it looks very different. Like I've noticed, even watching those videos from, I hope that's in focus. What was I saying? Yeah, so after watching a lot of those videos of, this mascara's just not working for me. I might have to swap that over. Be right back. And I'm back. So let's try this one. Yeah, so in the videos from Russia and Sweden, I've noticed that their bush equivalent, we call it bush, it's really like forest for them. It's very different. It looks very different to the bush or forest that we have here. Just the trees are very different. They're very straight, more alpine-y, whereas ours are kind of a lot of shrubs, a lot of ground covers, gum trees, like eucalyptus trees, lemon myrtle, wattles, other natives, that are just not quite so perfect. They're quite branchy and bushy. Paperbark, is that what it's called? I think, where all the bark comes off it. So they're very different looking. It's not sort of pine or spruce trees, but it's quite pretty. I'd love to live in an area. There's that scene, I'm going to make a really obscure reference, and not that I'm obsessed with the movies or anything like that, but I did watch them. In the Twilight series, there's one scene where they're laying down, I think in like a flower patch in the middle of a forest. I'd love to live somewhere that backed onto something like that, but we don't really get that here. I don't know how common it is in the United States to actually have that landscape, but just something like that, to walk outside and just have that at your back fence, would be something quite special. Some blush. I'm just going to use a Sephora blush. It's like a pinky peach shade, like always. But yeah, there's a few videos that I want to film. Oh, you'll probably notice, yeah, I should have probably addressed this sooner in the video. There's a mess on my desk because I'm testing out some newer purchased fragrances, or some of the ones that I hadn't really used before. Those are all sitting back there. Yeah, some of them I thought I would like more than I do. Others I had low expectations for and ended up really enjoying, to the point where I am interested in finding more similar to it. So yeah, those are those. I might make a video and I'll show you what I got so far. There is one parcel that I'm waiting on that has two things in it, so I might hold off and wait for that to arrive before I do it, but we'll see. If they don't arrive soon, I might just insert a picture in the next video and let you guys know that way. But I'm going to put the Revlon Kiss in peach. Is it peach? I think. The medium shade one. I've noticed a weird thing with these. I'm not sure how it's going to capture it up on film. I'm going to zoom you right the way in. So excuse the zoom. Whoop, whoop. Right. Oh wow, that's probably a bit too far, but we'll see. So, okay, so when I take out the lid, the stick, the lip gloss sort of flies off the end of the brush. Can you see it? Anyway, I thought it was weird. And it happens even when you hold it vertically. So just be careful if you do have this. Because when I had it the first time, I was holding it up like this and it was trying to get back in. It was really weird. I like the feeling of the Revlon, there's a Kiss Glow lip oils. They're just really silky and smooth. They do not last long at all though. So if you're looking for something that applies colour or stains, this is not it. They do not have good longevity at all. It's more just like a slick balm. It just doesn't last for very long, but it feels nice, it smells nice, it looks good while it's there. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to try to take my hair down out of this clip and see how it goes. So I'd kind of just let it part naturally, which it's not an even part, it's sort of just off to the left of centre. And it happens to be where my big grey patch is, which that's fine. My greys are getting longer now. They're down to probably about here, so it's almost half. So I guess this time next year it might be almost all of it. We'll see. My hair seems to have been growing slower recently, or it feels like it's growing slower. Although I did get a haircut a while ago. I'll need to see when I got it cut because I cut a whole heap off it, like about 8 to 10 inches. I think that's about 8 inches, but I was tempted to cut it up to around here. So it would be about shoulder height, something around there. I'm not sure if I would, but maybe like something around this long, maybe. We'll see. Maybe when it's hotter. As long as I can get it up into a ponytail, that's generally the rule of thumb. But I like to get it up into a bun, so the rolling donut bun things. If I can get it into one of those, or at least in a ponytail and go over it to make it into a bun, that's my default go-to hairstyle, where I really don't have to do anything with it because I'm terrible at hair. I just can't do anything special with my hair. Yeah, well, that'll do. Yeah, that's kind of it for now. I just thought I would pop on here and do my makeup, drink my tea, have a chat with you. Hopefully you're all doing well. It's been cold here. The other day, like not cold by comparison to some places, I get it, but the other day at my house I think it got to -3,
which is fairly cold for here. It's not common, but it's not uncommon either. Generally, it's around the 0 to 2 degrees of a nighttime is common. But yeah, it was -3. We had a lot of ice on the grass for a while. I think tomorrow it's tops of 13 degrees Celsius, which is quite cold for this time of year, but it's okay. It is what it is. I think when I got married up in the Blue Mountains, it was 3 degrees that day. That was my wedding anniversary, not that long ago actually. It was 7 years since I got married, so last week, or beginning of this week, it was my wedding anniversary. So 7 years married, 15 years together, and it was snowing in the Blue Mountains. The day before and the day after our wedding it was snowing. I wouldn't have minded if it had snowed. It would have been bad though for the wedding because a lot of people had to drive up there, and it can get really dangerous with black ice, for example, and just snow in general. If you're not suited to the snow, which it's not common, then it can be really dangerous and they'll close roads. So thankfully that didn't happen, but it was freezing cold on my wedding day. It was, yeah, I think 3 degrees, and I was in my wedding dress. I'll post a photo just up here. I didn't really wear a cardigan or a jumper or a jacket or anything like that the whole day. I just wore that, so it was like a princess or sweetheart neckline, whatever it's called. I had thin straps, and then I had the lace, the black lace jacket part of the dress over the top. That was it. And I really didn't feel that cold. I don't mind the cold. I prefer the cold over the heat, but it was cold. Everybody else was really cold, but we had blankets for all of our guests, and they didn't have to hang around for this part of the photos and things like that. They could all go and explore, go back to the hotel room or go to the reception, which was close by. But yeah, I remember that. I think the thing about my wedding day though is that I didn't see a lot of it because my contact lenses kept fogging up. I don't know if it was the cold or a mixture of the makeup and the cold, but I had a pair in, and as soon as I stepped outside, they blurred up. They just went white. So I had some extras with me just in case, and I changed them over, and as soon as I got outside again, they would blur up, and it happened 3 times, and so I just gave up and took them out. So I'm short-sighted, so I can't really see more than, say, that far in front of me clearly. I can make things out, but I wouldn't be able to see faces or things like that. So yeah, it was kind of disappointing, but it didn't really matter because I could still see my husband's face, and he was close enough that it sort of almost felt like it was just us there as well, which was kind of romantic in a way, but it was still, yeah, really magical and just a really good day. But yeah, not too much else to give you updates on. I might wrap it up and start prepping to film another video, which I'm excited to film. And I know it's been requested by a few people, so in prepping to film it, I kind of reignited my passion for it, and it's going to be a little bit dangerous. You'll see when it comes out, you'll know what I mean, and I'll explain it when I'm filming that video as well. But I have 2 ideas. One of them I'm going to do normal style, another one I do want to do ASMR style, but the ASMR style is going to be a little bit longer, a little bit more detailed than the normal style, because it's going to take some prep work and spreadsheet work and stuff like that to get it all ready, and I just want to film it now for the first time. But yeah, that's it. I think this is way long enough already, but I hope it was okay. I hope you all enjoyed having a chat with me. I certainly am feeling better. now than I was before. It's still not feeling 100% myself, but just doing some of the things, and I had a good conference call or whatever it is with my family, and yeah, there's just been a few things that I've sort of been taking a bit more time out just for myself and focusing on resting and taking a break and just taking it easy where I can, which has helped a lot. But I certainly miss family dinners, but in time it'll be okay. We'll get through it. But yeah, I feel good. Just filming, it's nice. So I'm going to make the most of it while I can, and I've got some time this weekend, no other plans. So yeah, I wanted to get on here, film this, because why not have a chat with you while I'm doing my makeup? I like it, and I know a lot of you have commented that you just like having it on even in the background, and that's fine with me. You don't really have to watch a video like this. I'm not really teaching you anything new. It's all been done before, but I hope you all enjoy it. Feel free to comment down below if you've got any updates, if you've got any questions, any comments at all. I really just enjoy that interaction with you all. I hope you're having a fantastic morning, afternoon or evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!